We are Dennis and Min. Come join us on our traveling adventures around the world. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Before we get into this segment, please like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you this wonderful, informative content. So we're going to get right into, is Malaysia a place to retire? For us personally, having spent 5 weeks in Malaysia, Min and I, we had a wonderful visit and a scouting trip there. For just a couple of reasons, it wasn't quite the place for us to consider retirement. And I'll explain that a little bit later. But first, some numbers. So if you don't know where Malaysia is, it is in Asia, and it actually is bordered on the south by the island of Singapore and to the north, Thailand. And what a lot of people may not recognize is that there's a portion of Malaysia that's also on the island of Borneo, yes, where they have the orangutan. So that northern part of that island is actually Malaysia. Malaysia is made up of about 34 million people. They have their own indigenous people, the Malay, and it's primarily a Muslim country. Yet they are very welcoming and open to foreigners, to expats, to tourists, and they very much have freedom of religion there, so you can practice whatever faith or no faith if that's for your thing there in Malaysia. We spent 5 weeks there, as I said, in June, July of 2022. And it was a scouting trip. Based on our research, we decided to stay in 4 locations for about a week or more, give or take, and make little day trips in and around those areas. So I'm gonna just be posting some of the pictures and videos of where we were in Malaysia with the names of the locations, so that way you can have that as a reference. And again, we just had a wonderful time there. We rented a car, but it's very easy with public transportation to get around there. Train, they have ferries, they've got metro system. So we first landed in Kuala Lumpur, which is the biggest city there, made up of about 1.5 million people, if I recall. And it's a very high-tech, cosmopolitan city. You see the buildings are being erected left and right. There's a lot of new construction going on, which is usually indicative of a pretty thriving economy. They do have oil reserves there, if I recall, so I think they're doing pretty good with money. They have amazing infrastructure. Some people think Malaysia is it a third world country. I don't know, maybe it is or it isn't, but it did not seem like a third world country when we were there. They have incredible roads that are just pristinely kept up and maintained. No potholes anywhere. Again, they've got a great metro system in certain parts of the country. And they have, in Kuala Lumpur, we went to several malls, and these malls are unlike any malls I've ever seen. They are just a spectacle to behold. And then within these malls, you have theaters and food courts, in addition to all the regular shops and even these higher end shops. People there, they don't make a lot of money, but yet, I don't know, they still seem to cater. It must be tourists that are spending the money in these places. But they are very friendly, but you can catch very inexpensive transportation, whether it's a bus, the metro. They have ride sharing like Grab, and maybe, I don't know if it's Uber, but Grab, I think, is what one of the bigger companies there, where you can rent, like a cab and go from point A to point B relatively inexpensively. So we were in Kuala Lumpur. We enjoyed our time there. From there, we didn't have time. We wanted to go to Malacca in the southern part, but it just was a little bit out of the way. We didn't want to skimp on these other locations that we wanted to go to that we'd heard a lot about. Again, if you haven't already, we did a lot of research before, like what areas might be a good fit for us as far as future retirement. From Kuala Lumpur, it's too big of a city for our liking, but it certainly was a wonderful place to spend a week. And from there, we went to Cameron Highlands, which is in the mountains a little bit, elevated, very lush, very green. We enjoyed that part of Malaysia. It's very different from other areas because it is in the mountains. But unfortunately, they get their share of traffic. It's a fairly small town, very quaint, very charming. Yet if there's a landslide, which are fairly common in those roads, it could really, tie up getting in and out of that city. And just because there's one road in the city and one where we're going out because it's mountainous, again, they have their share of rush hour. We sat in traffic for quite some time coming and going from that town. From Cameron Highlands, we went to Penang, which is about 1 million people. And there's kind of the mainland Penang, and then there's actually an island of Penang. And in that area of Penang is also a very popular UNESCO heritage site city called Georgetown. Wonderful history and great architecture there. And they have wonderful, wonderful food options all throughout Malaysia. But Penang is one of the foodie capitals of the world, if you did not know that. And for centuries, Malaysia has been this area where many ships pass through for trading purposes. So not only are they trading certain goods, but also food. So there's this great infusion of Indian food, Chinese food, Thai food, and of course their local Malay food, all kind of combined together. So they just have these really amazing concoctions that are just incredible. So again, if you're a foodie, you definitely should be checking out Penang. And again, all throughout Malaysia, there's some great food. But it's also very, very inexpensive. You can get these plates for $2, $3, $4, and you're full. And it's amazing food. So you can really see your money go pretty far in the country of Malaysia. So we loved our time in Penang. It also is a very cosmopolitan area. They have a couple of tremendous high-end malls. These malls are 3-4 stories. And it gets a little busy there too, traffic-wise. And we did notice that the air quality, at least when we were there in the summer of 2022, was not that great. Similar to what we saw in Costa Rica, they have a strong palm oil industry. So there are certain times of the year where they are burning parts of these trees for palm oil, and that doesn't help, certainly. And also with the industry that they have going on in and around Penang, I think that the air quality is not like you would think on a small island. So it carries over from the mainland area. Where we did find some great air quality was on the island further north of Penang called Langkawi. And Langkawi, by the way, Penang has about 1 million people, so it's a pretty big populated area from what I recall. Langkawi, on the other hand, you have to take a ferry to get there, and it is very lush and tropical. I can't remember if it's a rainforest or not, but it's a beautiful, beautiful island. We just rented a moped and traveled around for the day there one time and spent the rest of the time in and around the city where we were there on the island. Easy to make friends over there. Almost got attacked by a bunch of monkeys, but that's a story for another video. But anyways, we got out unscathed. But you do have to be careful there because there's some monkeys there that they mean business, and not monkey business. I mean like serious business. So just be on your guard there in Langkawi. But it's a trip. It's very different from what you might find in the U.S. and even other countries that we'd been to. So wonderful, wonderful experience through those areas of Malaysia. The one thing that we did not like so much about Malaysia was the heat and humidity. The thing is, it's always year round. It is pretty warm and hot there, and it can be very humid. So think Florida in the summertime, but year round. So we aren't ones to want to deal with that on a regular basis. So that's the only one real downside to us about Malaysia. We definitely look forward to going back there. Again, you're as an expat, as a tourist, your money's going to go pretty far there. Naturally, as you get out of the more touristy areas, your money's going to go even further. A couple tidbits, some stats on Malaysia. They are known for their how safe of a country they are. They are ranked number 10 in the world. So again, mind you, this is a Muslim country coming in at number 10 safest country in the world, whereas in comparison, Portugal is number 7, the United States, sadly, 132. For healthcare, Malaysia is right up there with healthcare. They are actually ranked number 29 according to Numio, and whereas they are ranked number 29 for healthcare, Portugal is number 21, a little bit better, and the US, a little bit back, number 38 in terms of healthcare compared to most of the countries throughout the world. The other thing I just wanted to mention is real estate. We actually did look at quite a bit of real estate options over there. We looked at some condos, and again, like a lot of things over there, your money can go far. The process is a little bit strange. They don't have any centralized MLS system. You just have to find realtors and see what listings they might have to show you. They're not always so anxious to want to show you other properties that are for sale. So that could be a little bit frustrating. You know, there's a lot of diversity in terms of price points and what you're looking for. You can spend $1 million very easily, but they do have some options for foreigners to purchase property there. They don't make it so easy. If and when you want to sell, you end up having to pay back some of that to the government, any appreciation. So that is something to look into there. You definitely would probably want to get your own representation when purchasing property, but it is allowed for foreigners to purchase property there as of the time when we were there in 2022. And again, there's just some complications when you want to sell, what you might have to pay back to the government for any appreciation, maybe some taxes as well. So something to look into if you are looking at purchasing. However, the rents in Malaysia are really low compared to the United States, certainly to Hawaii. So I think a lot of people that are expats and are deciding to retire there, they just rent because it is so inexpensive. You can get in Kuala Lumpur, in these major urban areas, you can get a nice place from $400 or $500 a month to $1,000 a month. You can be living like a king over there in a very spacious, maybe 3-bedroom condo with a very nice view and a good location, nice neighborhood. So you can look online for some options for that. And again, they just don't have a centralized MLS system from when we were there. That's our little trip to Malaysia. We loved it, and we will definitely be going back. It was not for us in terms of a place to retire to compared to all the good things that we saw in Portugal, but we will definitely look to go back to Malaysia. So that's it for this episode. Please like and subscribe to our channel, and we hope to see you again.